tackling something we hear about all the time, cholesterol. We're going to demystify this whole complex world by turning it into a really simple story, a story about your body's incredible internal delivery service. You've probably heard this a million times at a checkup, right? Good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. But what does that really mean? Why is one good and the other bad? And what in the world does it all have to do with your health? Well, we're about to break it all down. Okay, so it all boils down to this super simple fundamental problem. Your body absolutely needs fats, or lipids as they're called, for everything from building cells to making hormones. But your blood is mostly water, and we all know what happens when you mix oil and water. They don't. So that creates a huge transportation issue.
How does your body pull off this incredible feat? How do you move this oily, fatty cargo through a watery highway system? Well, it's got this absolutely brilliant solution. A whole specialized fleet of tiny delivery vehicles.
These little vehicles are called lipoproteins, and honestly, they are the unsung heroes of this entire story. They're designed for one single critical purpose: to get fats where they need to go safely. Seriously, think of them like microscopic taxis cruising through your bloodstream. They have this special outer shell made of proteins and other stuff that loves water, which lets them travel around with no problem. But on the inside, they've got a secret cargo hold, packed with all the oily, fatty goods.
And check this out. Here's how it's built. You can see all the oily fats, like triglycerides, packed away in the center, the hydrophobic core. They're completely shielded from the watery blood by that water-friendly outer layer. It's basically a perfect little transport pod for fat.
But here's the thing, not all these taxis are built the same. Not even close. They come in all different shapes and sizes. You've got the chylomicrons, which are like these massive cargo ships, almost entirely fat, carrying the stuff you just ate. Then, all the way at the other end, you have the compact, protein-heavy HDL, and it has a very, very different mission.
So let's track the first delivery route, what we can call the takeout order pathway. This journey kicks off the second you eat a meal with any fat in it, whether that's from an avocado, some olive oil, or, a slice of pizza.
Your intestine gets to work packaging up those fats from your food into those giant delivery trucks we just talked about, the chylomicrons. And get this, these things are so huge and so jam-packed with fat, they can literally make your blood plasma look cloudy or milky after a really fatty meal. Then they hit the road, cruising into the bloodstream to make their deliveries.
But, your body isn't just relying on the fat from your food. Nope, it's got its own central warehouse and manufacturing plant, your liver, and it is constantly building and shipping out its own custom packages of lipids.
From the liver, these particles called VLDLs are sent out. Now, as these VLDLs travel around your body, they drop off their fatty cargo to different cells. As they unload, they get smaller and denser, eventually morphing into the one you've definitely heard of, LDL. This is the dedicated delivery service bringing essential cholesterol right to your cell's doorsteps.
Okay, so this right here is the absolute key to the whole good versus bad thing. LDL is the delivery service. It's essential. It brings the cholesterol your cells need to survive. But HDL, that's your cleanup crew. It's the recycling team. It goes around, picks up any excess cholesterol lying around in your tissues, and brings it back to the liver for disposal. You need both to be working perfectly. And you can see it perfectly here. On the left, you've got the delivery route, LDL dropping off its packages. On the right, you've got the cleanup route, HDL collecting all the leftovers. In a healthy body, it's this beautiful, harmonious balance, a perfect dance.
But what happens when that dance gets out of sync? What happens when the balance between the delivery service and the cleanup crew is completely thrown off?
Yeah, take a look at this. This is what blood with way too much fat in it can actually look like. That thick, creamy layer sitting right on top, that's just pure lipid. It is a dramatic visual red flag that the delivery system is overwhelmed and you're heading for some dangerous traffic jams.
It's a simple numbers game, really. If you have too many LDL delivery trucks on the road, or you don't have a big enough HDL cleanup crew to handle the mess, cholesterol packages get dropped, left behind, and they start to build up inside the walls of your arteries. This buildup, called plaque, can harden and narrow those arteries, and that is a huge risk factor for heart attacks and strokes.
And this is why understanding this whole system is so critical, because knowing how it works is the key to making sense of your own health and those numbers you get back from your doctor after a blood test. So when you get that lipid panel back from the lab, it's not just a bunch of random numbers. Think of it as a direct report card for your body's logistics network. It tells you
How big is your delivery fleet, your LDL? Is your cleanup crew, your HDL, strong enough to handle the job? And just how much cargo, those triglycerides, is being shipped around in the first place? It tells your doctor if your system is running smoothly or if it's heading for a crash.
But wait, the story isn't just about diet and lifestyle. There is one more important piece to this puzzle. And this one is a bit of a curveball because it's written into your DNA.
Let me introduce you to ELP-A, pronounced ELP-a. Think of this as a genetic wildcard. It's a special type of delivery truck that's just naturally extra sticky and more prone to causing those traffic jams in your arteries. And here's the kicker. Its levels are pretty much locked in by your genes. Diet and exercise don't really move the needle. For some people, this is a major hidden risk factor, and it's definitely something worth asking your doctor about.
So, at the end of the day, from the food you eat to the genes you inherit, this incredibly complex delivery service is running inside you 24/7. Understanding how that whole journey works, well, that's the first step to making sure your story has a very long and a very healthy ending.